Welcome to part 2 in our series on building a shopping cart in Ember. So today we'll be building several new features. We'll be having the total amount in the current shopping cart. We'll be adding a clear button to completely remove everything from the shopping cart. We'll fix this bug where when you remove everything, it shows all the monsters. And we'll also add in some local storage support so that when you reload the page, it doesn't reset your shopping cart. First, we'll tackle the total amount. So what we'll do is we'll just display the total amount and try to get it from the cart. That means in the cart, we'll have to have a computed property of total. Now, what will this be computed on? So we've got our monsters, and each of those has a price. So we'll be wanting to sum up the prices of the monsters. So there is a computed macro called sum, and if we get something called monster prices, then that would be great. Luckily, there is an easy way to get monster prices, and that is with another computed property, the map by property. So that takes the monsters and gets the price from them. So with these two computed properties, we're able to get the total. So here, 18 plus 5 is 23. Awesome. And we'll go ahead and add a $sign before that. Now we'll want a button that can clear the cart. So we'll place the button within the checkout template. And then we'll create the clear action, which just sends it back up to the cart service. Then in our cart service, the clear function will just set the monster IDs attribute to an empty array. Let's see this in action. We hit clear and oh, it says 0 items in our cart, but looky there, there's our nice bug. So what's happening here is when we're calling query, if it sends up an empty array, then in our Rails app, it will interpret this as false, so it'll just call monster.all. Now we can change our server, or we can change how we do the monsters call. And since we don't always have direct control over our server, let's change it here. So here we'll be doing an if statement, and so if the monster ID's length is equal to 0, then we'll just return an empty array. Otherwise, we'll return the query like we were before. So looking good so far, let's clear the cart. And there we go. We're down to 0, just like we had hoped. All right, now that we have our cart displaying as it should, let's get around to saving the state of our cart, because if we reload this, then it'll just go back to our default, and that's no good. Users reload pages all the time, and we don't want them losing everything when they do that. To help us do this, we're going to use the Ember LocalStorage add-on. And what this will do is let us selectively choose things to put into local storage. This is not an Ember data adapter that will put all of our data in local storage. This will just put certain things, like our shopping cart there. So we'll start off by installing Ember LocalStorage. Then we'll generate a storage class, and we'll call this storage class cart. And then we'll do -a to recognize that it's an array. So it'll automatically generate it for an array instead of an object. And then when we go to storages/cart, then we'll see that we've created a storage array based off the class that comes from Ember LocalStorage. Let's use this in our cart service. First, we'll import the storage4 function, and we'll import that from Ember LocalStorage. And then we'll use that to replace the monster IDs. So we'll use storage4, and then we'll say cart here. So what we're referencing as monster IDs is using this cart storage. So it starts off with 0 items in the cart because we removed the default 2 items. When we hit Buy Plushie, it seems to add an item. This is going great. Then when we click the shopping cart, uh-oh, there is a problem. So let's put a debugger in here to see what's going on. So we'll see that the monster IDs that we're getting back, this is now a class and not an array. So if we try to get the length on this, that's a computed property. But if we get monster IDs dot length, then that actually returns a length. So that's the first thing we'll change. Then we'll have to change how we get the content here, because it's no longer enough just to send it that class. We'll have to call monsterIDs.content, and that will get us the array we need. So we'll get monsterIDs.content, and then we can delete this up here. So let's see how this works. There we go. Here we have both of our items showing up. And of course, to make sure, clear cart still works, and then adding more monsters. Uh-oh, this bug is showing up again. The reason it's doing that is because we set the monster IDs just to an empty array, which is overwriting the storage for cart that we have. So let's remake our clear function. First we'll get the monster IDs, and then we'll call .clear on them. That's something that's built in to the LocalStorage add-on. So let's try this again. We'll hit clear cart, and then we'll see if we can add in more monsters. And it appears that it's worked correctly this time. So that's part 2 of building a shopping cart. We covered local storage so that things will stay on when you reload, and we also created the total and the clear cart button, as well as fixed a bug related to that. In the next episode, we'll be adding a way to accept payments using Stripe Checkout.